Hello, welcome everyone to Florida Closing and Escrow and BOW Brokers Opens and Tours Worldwide. We welcome you to our weekly update. We're here with John Iowanu and Anthony Bauza, expert real estate attorneys, and we're happy to help you with your success. We do contract draft, review, addendums, answering any questions and more, all included in our service. We will conduct closings in our office, curbside, out of state, out of country with online notarization as needed and all within the COVID guidelines. Or we are adapting, as we have said, we'll do it curbside or any location as needed. So we're here to give you some updates, starting with COVID related. Unpaid rent cost landlords about $9.1 billion in revenue, while missed mortgage payments totaled an estimated $16.3 billion. So renters declared have a new declaration form that now I'm going to ask Anthony to talk about. Any updates with that? And fill us in, please.
Sure. So, as we know, the president issued an executive order regarding evictions, and the CDC followed up with an order regarding that. So, by CDC order, the evictions will be banned through December 31st. And what the CDC requires, as you said, is a declaration form. It's basically an affidavit stating that they meet the income qualifications, so it would have to be making income of less than 99,000, and that there is some sort of inability to pay rent due to a substantial loss of income because of the pandemic. So with this form filled out, this affidavit of declaration of these facts, the eviction would not be able to happen. What we're seeing, though, is we don't know yet how states will implement this. So there are some states that are applying it much more narrowly. For example, the state of Maryland is requiring actual proof and evidence in addition to this declaration form. And the state of Michigan has said that they're going to leave it up for a judge to decide when the actual ban and use of this form will apply in what stage of the eviction proceedings. So we still have to see how this is actually going to be implemented and how it's going to play out.
Yeah, the caveat is that they don't always have to ask for proof that they need protection. Also, for couples, for individuals, yes, it's if they make less than 99,000, and for couples, less than 198,000.
Yeah.
Also, many small businesses are affected. 84% have exhausted their PPP. 13% of America's 31 million small businesses have pretty much exhausted their funds, and 7% say only 7% say they have confidence in being able to maintain payroll. So we do hope something is arrived at soon. And we do have good news on the other hand. Builder confidence soars to all-time high, signaling a strong housing market leading the economic recovery. Builder confidence in newly built single-family homes has increased 5% to an all-time high of 83 in September. Existing home sales also soar to the highest levels since 2006. So anything you want to add to any of the good news?
Yes, so that is actually what you just mentioned is a very strong signal of economic recovery. Builder confidence. I know that that report that you're referencing, it states that the builders are seeing a very positive market conditions. There is actually to the point that they're actually worried about a delay of being able to get building materials, especially lumber, because of the demand that they have. The suburban shift for home building is definitely keeping builders busy. And it's just another sign of a growing trend of builders across the country that are reporting to get calls from customers in high density markets asking about relocating.
Yep. And total existing home sales also climbed 10.5%, and the increase is up from last year in August. Okay, the Rubin brothers have acquired a 25% stake in Jeffrey Sofer's JW Marriott Turnberry Resort, and they're also partnering with Sofer Fontainebleau Development on other investments. Michael Huffington bought an $8 million condo in 87 Park. So a lot of activity is going on, and we are witnessing an uptick in closings locally. The next question is for John. Will this surge continue to climb?
Yeah, that's a good question. Realtor.com's Housing Recovery Index, which compares the current status to the January 2020 market trend. This index shows strength of the recovery since the beginning of May. And today, this index stands at the highest point all year, including the time prior to the economic shutdown. So what this says is basically the momentum is still building. Zillow's last report confirms that buyer demand is continuing to dramatically outpace this same time last year, and the percent increase over last year is also growing. So the housing market is not only outperforming the grim forecast from last year, but it is also eclipsing the actual success from the beginning of when the pandemic started. So all things actually in South Florida are looking really good.
Okay, that's good news to hear. All right, the next question is for Anthony. What is the truth about American migration? Migration during the pandemic, is it different or has it accelerated because of the pandemic from the cities to the suburbs? I know there's not a definitive answer, but what does the emerging data show? Is it just perception, or is there a mass migration backed by any data?
Right. So there's obviously reports that people are fleeing cities, but if we look at the actual data, overall, fewer people have actually been moving since the beginning of stay-at-home orders and through June, even with an interest in moving on the rise pre-pandemic. And the interesting takeaway is that although you do have pockets of individuals moving from larger cities, they're actually moving to other large metropolitan areas. So it's not that they're just trying to get out of cities, they're moving actually to other cities. So we have lots of New York City and San Francisco, and we're seeing movement to Seattle and Los Angeles. So the perception, I think, is there, but we're not really seeing a mass migration in very large numbers moving out. We do see an interest in moving, but typically this is people that were planning on moving anyways, or maybe sped up a move from an urban to a suburban areas that they were going to move anyways, and took advantage of the pandemic to just go ahead and move those plans up a bit.
And I think the data is also unclear whether the moves are temporary or permanent. So that remains to be seen.
Right. So that's the other fact. So we haven't yet seen whether these are just temporary moves to get out of the cities due to the pandemic, the stay-at-home orders, and if these people are going to move back. So the data still isn't all there yet. So hopefully we could have a greater picture once we move forward in the future and more and more cities begin to open back up.
Okay, and I know New York City is one with a lot of mass exodus, and fortunately Florida is one of the locations that many people are moving to. Okay, the next question is for John. How to best deal with multiple offers? The market has heated up, and as we know, inventory is low, which has led to some bidding wars with increased frequency, which is a seller's dream but a buyer's nightmare. What are a few of the tips and tricks for listing agents to look out for when their clients get multiple offers, sometimes within hours?
Yeah, the main thing is to keep your sellers informed and prepared. Inform them of the current market conditions and expectations for the upcoming transaction ahead of time. Advise them that there is a possibility of receiving multiple offers, and to expect that. Number two is be mindful of the aggressive buyer, right? Some buyers will use this period of uncertainty to apply pressure and speed up the process by giving the seller short time frames, like 12-hour deadlines to respond to an offer. Don't feel pressured by these buyers into making a quick decision, but do communicate quickly with the other agent to help maintain that good relationship with them, and ultimately allow the seller to make all final decisions. And then also something to consider is timing, depending on the seller's needs. So you have to speak to your seller and find out, are they investors? Do they want a quick closing, or do they live in the home and do they need time to move out? So this timing issue could be as important as the price. So make sure to discuss that with the seller and ask them if they need a quick closing or need an extra month or two to move out. And then you can present them offers that have that extra time frame or that shortened time frame.
Okay, thank you. The next question is directed to Anthony about house flipping status. Rates are down. Are the profits up?
Right. So U.S. house flipping rates actually did decline in the second quarter, down to 6.7% from 7.5% in the previous quarter. So that's roughly one of every 15 transactions. The positive side to this is that we're still overall up 6.1% from the same time last year. But yeah, so although the flipping rates have declined, profits and profit margins have increased. So the gross profit on a typical home flip in the US during the second quarter was $67,902. Which is an increase from the first quarter of $63,000 and an overall increase from 1 year ago from $61,900.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is for John. Florida update. Can you give us a summary? We know there's been a surge from the Northeast, and we know that it is continuing due to tax reasons, homestead, and can you add in a few other reasons and recommendations for sellers in what they're calling this brave new world that we recommend teaming with a relevant realtor?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Florida is still seeing high numbers of U.S. homeowners opting to move to South Florida. Majority of them are coming from the Northeast, as we've talked about previously, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and the surrounding areas. A recent stat is about approximately 950 people move to Florida every day. And of those 950 people, 45% of those end up in South Florida. So there's going to be a lot of demand here. These buyers are looking to leave those packed city buildings and move their families to the open spaces of South Florida, taking advantage of the outdoors and enjoying the weather. So what are some key things sellers are looking for in their realtor? Basically, the digital capacity, as everything is now happening online. So agents need to be tech savvy and have extensive systems in place to function effectively in the new tech-oriented environment. So make sure you're up to date with all those. Also, virtual listing presentations are the new norm, as many sellers now understand that an agent doesn't need to visit and don't need to do those in-person showings. So those are also important. Be aware of what buyers are looking for. Basically, they're looking for the move-in ready homes that they don't have to do too much for, with upgrades already done. Optimized spaces are gaining huge popularity, showcasing designated home offices, exercise spaces, outdoor living areas, and also something that's called a Zoom room. Those are also gaining popularity, so those are cute. Beautifully prepared homes are the ones that look the best online, so make sure that everything looks good in the pictures. Properly priced homes will sell, so although there is a high demand, you don't want to go too high, so make sure you properly price the home. And also, I found this interesting, is to actually do a preemptive inspection. Hire an inspector to come in and do the inspection. They're only about a couple $100. And then as a seller's realtor, you can present that to potential buyers to show them that you're disclosing everything up front. Also present them the seller disclosures and provide them a list of all the upgrades and repairs done to the home, including the receipts, contracts, and any applicable warranties that can be transferred to the buyer.
Okay, yeah, it's important to have the right realtor to help you maximize your profits and sell your home the fastest. So we also have tools to help you, including the live opens, the virtual opens, the 3D tours, and those come with tags and also a listing page that you could promote on any media. In addition, we also have tools including instant videos available, agent image, which will promote your listing digitally, social media solutions, and more. So for any tips and tools, how to market yourself and via social media, please contact us. We're here to help increase your success, and we can help you not only with the product, but with marketing the product so that you get targeted viewers. You can geo-target, geo-fence, get digital flyers made, and promote ads to certain zip codes or subdivisions via digital marketing, as well as social media marketing and Facebook and Google ads. So we're here to assist you to close more deals and help navigate these challenging times. Thank you everyone for joining today, and we're here to help from BOW, Brokers, Opens, and Tours Worldwide, and Florida Closing and Escrow. And we'll see you next week. And Anthony and John, anything else you want to add?
Nope, continue to stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone.